Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Eliezer Melamed, Shlita. Well, we hope everyone had an enjoyable Shabbos, and here in the diaspora, northeastern United States, an enjoyable holiday weekend celebrating the birthday of the United States of America, 249 years, something we should not take for granted, especially when it comes to our religious freedom of expression, and the wonderful life that the United States of America has given to the Jewish people. Again, something that should never be lost on us, but please continue davening for Chayei Tzvah Gan Yisrael, for Shalom L'chol Petuei Yisrael, and the safe return of our hostages. Lili Nishmat Sir and Daniel Shimon Arav Daron V'Shali Shemikim Damo. Just a programming note. I know we had a little bit of a shorter week last week because of Simchas holidays, whatnot, but we probably have about 2 weeks left in this season, and then we'll go on a bit of a summer hiatus, as I will be away. But we can certainly squeeze in 2 more weeks of learning L'Hagdil Torah L'Adir. So let's continue. Zman Vasikin v'Hainetz Meduyuk. Hainetz Hachama hu is Zrichas HaShemesh, Zrichas HaChama. The sunrise, or what we call Nates, is actually that, sunrise, the time when the sun actually rises. V'av sh'lechora hagdora zu pshuta berura bepol eina davar kein. And you would think that at the outset that this should be very simple to determine, but it's really not that way. Rashis, first of all. Meshech Aliyas HaChama the period from which the sun rises, from the second that you could see the edge of the sun until you could see the entirety of the sun, is about 2.5 minutes. So the Chachamim Chazal, they have a disagreement what is considered exactly nates. Ladas Rova poskim zman henates miad keshahachelek harishon shel shemesh nireh. According to most poskim, nates is when the first portion of the sun is visible. That's when you should begin saying Shmona Esrei with Vasikin. And some say that nates is at the conclusion of the rising of the sun. In other words, when you could see the entirety of the sun. And some say that it's the entire period of those 2.5 minutes. And some say that it continues even further for a few more minutes, as long as the corners of the sun are still red. So since we have so many different opinions, what do we do? So when we have this Zman of Vasikin that you'll see on a luach, usually that means that it's the beginning of the rising of the sun. But we're not extremely careful in this because there are so many other opinions. But if you're going to go to a Nate's minion, that's usually what it means, is when sunrise begins. Another thing that arises, do we go after the first time that the sun is visible? Let's say you're behind mountains that are in the east, and it's blocking the rising of the sun, so you have to wait a little bit longer till it's visible? Or do we go in an empirical sense when it actually in an astronomical sense, in a straight latitude, longitude situation where there was nothing blocking, theoretically, do we go by that time? Barusha nimtza mitachas latzuk, o binyan gavoa shemastir mimenos mizrach, lo yachol liton shazricha legabav hi bizman shu atzma yiras hashemesh. So it's obviously that someone who's being blocked is, let's say you have an apartment building in front of you, you have a mountain in front of you, whatever it might be, you're underground, you don't go by when you can see the sun, because then it may be till noon that you won't be able to see the sun. Imagine if a person lived in Manhattan and you have so many buildings blocking you on the eastern side, so it maybe not till 11, 12 o'clock would you see the sun. So obviously it's not that time. Hasha'elahi, so what's the real question? Mahadin l'mashal b'Yushalayim ha'atika sheharazeisim mastir lesa ofek b'mizrak. Let's say somebody's in the old city of Jerusalem, where the Mount of Olives covers and hides part of the eastern appearance. And therefore the sun is a few minutes later is visible than for other people. Even if you're standing on Har HaZeisim, maybe if you look over the mountains of Jordan in Moab, then you could see all the way down through the Jordan Valley, all the way to the other side, to the other country. So maybe that also blocks some of the sunrise. Some say that no, only when you actually see the sun. Some say when you could see it from Har HaZeisim. Some say that you shouldn't make this calculation based on a mountain that's close by, like Har HaZeisim. Since you could walk there by foot. But rather, you have to go further away to the mountains of the Jordan Valley, or in actually Jordan itself, in Moab. So obviously there's going to be a difference in time between these two times. And some say that no, we don't take into account at all the mountains in the Mizrach, in the east. We just take an empirical sense of when the sun is actually rising. And we take that had there been no mountains, then you would be able to see the sun coming up over the horizons. So now we have computer calculations that can figure out, wherever you're located, the astronomical exact time when the sun will come up over the horizon, mountains or no mountains. And that's what we use to figure out the time of sunrise. So imagine that if you're davening, let's say, Nate's at the Kotel, you're not actually going to see the sun because of everything that's blocking you, the wall, the old city, etc. And that may take place in wherever you are. So sometimes, let's say you're davening, I don't know, you're in Florida davening on the beach facing the east, and there's nothing in front of you, so then you'll be able to calculate exactly when sunrise is. But generally speaking, when we have a sunrise minyan, a Vasikin Hanetz minyan, we will use the Zmanim chart, and that's what, and most people are davening inside anyway, they're not really looking at the sun, but that's how we figure it out. So, off to another week of learning. Thank you so much for joining us. Please continue davening for Chayei Tzvah and Yisrael for Shalom Chol Tzvei, so a safe return of our hostages. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day.